is Chicago's very own WGN News at 9.
Well, the heat wave tightens its sweaty grip on Chicago and the suburbs. Some relief could be headed our way tonight in the form of lower temperatures and a bit of a breeze along the lakefront, but don't get too comfortable. Good evening. I'm Steve Sanders.
And I'm Gina Barron for Allison Payne. The temperature climbed to 94 degrees today at Midway Airport and along the lakefront where it's usually cooler. But with the heat index, it felt like 98 degrees. And if you think that's bad, tomorrow it could feel anywhere between 100 and 105 blistering degrees. The heat and humidity can be more than just uncomfortable, though. They can be downright dangerous.
That was the case today for many people as the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency declared its first Ozone Action Day of the year. WGN's Robert Jordan is standing by live tonight at Montrose Harbor with more on this heat wave. Good evening, Bob.
Hello, Steve and Dina. Well, an ozone alert is a tough thing to deal with because we have to breathe to live. There's no way around it. But when atmospheric conditions fall into place as they did today, we can get a high concentration of ozone, which can be harmful to those with weak or sickly lungs. And since we can't stop breathing or move or change the climate, we have to think of other ways to protect ourselves.
The summer sun was blasting through the trees that taste of Chicago, forcing the faint of heart to seek shelter in the shade or under tents.
The sun's really strong, so we came to cool off a little bit.
Today's atmosphere has all of the ingredients to produce unhealthy conditions.
It's the combination of sunlight, humidity, heat, interacting with the products of combustion engines that are the primary cause for ozone in this area.
The city has a special name for days like this.
Today has been called an Ozone Action Day.
Officials from the City Department of the Environment dedicated a plaque to the hundreds of Chicagoans who died in last summer's heat wave. But this season, when conditions warrant it, city officials are using the ozone alert to warn certain groups of people to take extra precautions to protect themselves.
People most at risk of the adverse effects from this ozone exposure are the aged, the infirm, the very young, and those with any type of lung disease.
These high-risk individuals should remain indoors as much as possible, minimize their physical activities, stay away if possible from polluted air or smoke, and be on the alert for the signs and symptoms of respiratory distress.
First, it's profuse sweating, maybe some muscle cramps, headache, a little dizziness. And when it becomes more severe, that headache becomes very pounding.
Now, officials say that one reason we had so many deaths last summer was because the heat and humidity stayed with us for so long. But right now, the wind has already picked up, the temperature has dropped, and hopefully we'll fall back into normal temperatures before very long. Live at the lakefront, Robert Jordan, WGN News.
Well, Bob, come on back into the air condition. Thanks. And Jim Ramsey will have more on the heat wave later on in the forecast.
A double murder leads to a tense standoff in Aurora as a man shoots two family members, then barricades himself inside a house. 41-year-old Gerald Piazza was taken into custody after a brief struggle. SWAT teams sealed off Prairie Street where he lived after two bodies were discovered around 2:15. The victims are 67-year-old Eugene Piazza and 43-year-old James Piazza, the suspect's father and brother. Police say they are familiar with the suspect.
And we have dealt with the suspect in the past. He has been troublesome with the officers in the past, but the arrest was effected with very little struggle. The subject is in custody, taken to the King County Jail.
Well, no charges have been filed yet. Police say Piazza served a 30-day jail sentence for domestic violence earlier this year. Emotion grips the Will County courtroom where 28-year-old Timothy Buss, the twice-convicted child killer, faces life in prison or death. Today, the mother of the young boy murdered by Buss last summer says the tragedy will change her life and the lives of her family forever. WGN's Muriel Clare with more on this story.
I'm really emotionally drained right now. It was a very draining day.
Micah Moulton poured her heart out to the 8 men and 4 women deciding the fate of her son's murderer. I cannot even begin to explain the overwhelming pain and aching within me, she told them, choking back tears. Each day when I drive to the cemetery, I have to pass the boat launch and be reminded of what the defendant did to my son. 10-year-old Christopher Meyer was kidnapped last August 7th from the Aurora Park boat launch near the Kankakee River, where he had been fishing. 8 days later, his sexually mutilated body was found in a shallow grave nearby. Christopher's mother was on the witness stand for no more than 15 minutes. Throughout the courtroom, spectators listening to her testimony dabbed tear-filled eyes. Bus sat unstirring. Bus killed for the first time in 1981 when he was 13 years old. The mother of his victim, 5-year-old Tara Sue Huffman, was slated to testify, but at the last minute the state decided not to put her on. Instead, prosecutors relied on testimony from a Bradley police officer who investigated the girl's murder and the child's death picture to underscore the state's push for the death penalty.
Meantime, as the sentencing hearing moves into a second week, the defense now prepares to ask that Timothy Bus's life be spared. That decision rests with the jury. In Will County, Muriel Clare, WGN News.
Well, tonight, Christopher's mother attended the opening of the Christopher Center, a center dedicated to children and safety. Dina?
Steve, Unabomber suspect Ted Kaczynski is now charged with 3 more bombings. They took place in Utah, Tennessee, and Michigan during the 1980s. 4 people were hurt in those bombings. Tonight's charges come as the government unseals indictments secretly obtained years ago against a man it was forced to call John Doe. In the 1987 attack, the Unabomber was seen placing a bomb in a Salt Lake City computer store parking lot. That lone sighting produced the now infamous sketch of the mustached suspect in aviator-style sunglasses and a hooded sweatshirt.
WGN's lottery drawing is coming up next. Also ahead, Guys, God, and the Gridiron. Tens of thousands of men, and the group keeps growing. Meet the Promise Keepers.
And this weekend's traffic might drive you crazy. What should you know before you get behind the wheel?
You're watching Chicago's very own WGN News with Allison Payne, Steve Sanders, Tom Skilling, and Rich King. This is WGN News at 9.
Brain wants to be famous. Marry Prince Charles. Pinky and the Brain.
Sunday night at 6 on WGN.
Still smell the coffee brewing every morning. You can still hear kids being called to the table. And you can still taste the simple goodness of Kellogg's Corn Flakes. The best things in life never change. You gotta make it a great day.
Live from WGN-TV Chicago, the official drawing of the Illinois Lottery.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Linda Kohlmeyer with your winning lottery numbers for Friday, June 28th, 1996. The beginning of the weekend. I hope you make it the best one yet. All right, the first game's pick 3, and the first lucky number is 0. Second number for tonight, let's see what it is. 8. And your third and final pick 3, 4. So the winning pick 3 numbers are 0, 8, 4. Time to move on to the pick 4 game. See what these lucky numbers are. Remember, this is your opportunity to be a winner. The first lucky number in pick 4, 1. Second number for tonight, 3. The third lucky number, 5, and the fourth, and final pick 4, 9. So the winning pick 4 numbers, 1, 3, 5, 9. Okay, it's Little Lotto time. Just what you've been waiting for. A jackpot, $200,000. The best part is where you get all that money at one time. Think about that opportunity. All right, the first winning Little Lotto number, 13. The second, 15. Your third, 29. Your fourth, 11. And the fifth and final Little Lotto number, 26. So the winning Little Lotto numbers are 13, 15, 29, 11, 26. Okay, talking about opportunities, get yourself a lotto ticket. The jackpot's $8 million for tomorrow night. Until then, I'm Linda Kohlmeyer, wishing all of you good luck and good night.
Tonight's lottery drawing has been supervised by the accounting firm of Altshuler, Melvoin, and Glasser and is brought to you by WGN-TV.
Hey, summertime. Lush green grass, blue skies. What could be better?
How about a new Buick? And how about some cash to go along with it? That's what you'll find at Buick Summerfest. Go with Century and get $1,500 cash. Get special regional cash on Regal or a special low lease payment on the new 97 LeSabre. Save on every new Buick in our huge inventory and get $1,500 cash. Only during your Buick dealer Summerfest. The best time to, well, you get the picture.
You bought a performance car. Why not buy a performance gasoline? When should you use a Rudis KT?
Not for little legs, but when the pain gets tough.
It takes 1,000 milligrams of Tylenol to get the same relief of just 25 milligrams of a Rudis KT.
Now, for tough pain, I've got a choice.
Potent Rudis KT.
When you're outside and you want buzz gone, now there's an off that you don't put on.
Just light off citronella candles and enjoy a delightful night.
Now use the off that you don't put on.
Off citronella candles, S.C. Johnson Wax.
Although manufacturers produce safe ovens, those are just a few of the ways that can cause a microwave to leak. So I use the Detecto card. Radiation leaks from microwaves can cause headaches, central nervous system damage, and other serious illnesses. The Detecto card allows me to cook with confidence. And when it comes to my family's health, nothing is more important. The Detecto card.
The FBI is investigating the first known clue in the deadly base bombing in Saudi Arabia that killed 19 Americans. Officials have recovered a blackened crankshaft from the truck. A serial number or other marking could help authorities track the owner of the vehicle. And at Elgin Air Force Base in Florida, 150 ground crew workers returned home from Saudi Arabia to a cheering crowd. 21 of them were injured. These same scenes played out at Patrick Air Force Base near Cape Canaveral. All but one of the 19 servicemen killed in the blast were from the 2 Florida bases. Steve?
At this hour tonight, Dina, 70,000 men have gathered at Soldier Field. As you see in this live picture, their call to arms, strengthening the family. They call themselves Promise Keepers, men who vow to uphold their duties as fathers and husbands. And their weapon, the power of prayer. It is a crowd size normally reserved for football games and rock concerts. A sea of faces filling Soldier Field tonight, and not a single woman in sight.
Men getting together that believe in Jesus and believe that it has an impact on life and want to learn more and grow spiritually.
They call themselves the Promise Keepers, an all-male evangelical Christian movement that is drawing thousands at stadiums throughout the country. Promise Keepers, or PK as it's called, was founded in 1990 by then Colorado football coach Bill McCartney. As a coach and born-again Christian, McCartney dreamed of filling football stadiums with more than football fans.
Out of that came a small basketball arena and a half of a stadium and a full stadium and now 22 stadiums in 1996 of men expressing their love for God.
This is one of 22 stadium events put on by Promise Keepers throughout the country this year, events that are expected to draw more than 1 million men. Some mainstream religious organizations, including the National Conference of Catholic Bishops, are reluctant to endorse the Promise Keepers. But Catholic priest Father Michael Flager enthusiastically supports the organization. Flager's St. Savina's Church on the south side sent 2 busloads of men to the Soldier Field gathering.
We have Catholic churches all over the city where men aren't going to church. This is the thing about bringing men back to the Lord.
Some critics say the Promise Keepers' efforts to empower men are misguided and takes power away from women. And at least one women's group is promising to protest the gathering.
It's not about power. It's about respect. It's about service. It's about passion and love and honor.
Well, the Promise Keepers rally runs through tomorrow night.
Well, if you're planning to head out there or you have other big plans for the weekend, we've got some important information to help you plot your course of action.
Hot, humid, but for how long? Your weekend forecast is next.
Haley Mills and Haley Mills.
Switch places.
Which?
Twins with a mission in the Disney classic that has America seeing double. They'll do anything to bring their family together.
Surprise!
Maureen O'Hara and Brian Keith star in Disney's original tale of terrific twins, The Parent Trap.
Saturday at noon on WGN Channel 9.
You can still smell the coffee brewing every morning. You can still hear kids being called to the table. And you can still taste the simple goodness of Kellogg's Corn Flakes. The best things in life never change.
You gotta make it a great day.
A harvest of wheat. Orchards thick with ripe fruits and nuts. Only nature's abundance can make a cereal truly satisfying as Raisin Nut Bran. A hearty combination of nut-covered raisins, almonds, and bran flakes. Raisin Nut Bran, a hearty, satisfying cereal.
Hey, summertime. Lush green grass, blue skies. What could be better? How about a new Buick? And how about some cash to go along with it? That's what you'll find at Buick Summerfest. Go with Century and get $1,500 cash. Get special regional cash on Regal or a special low lease payment on the new 97 LeSabre. Save on every new Buick in our huge inventory and get $1,500 cash. Only during your Buick dealer Summerfest. The best time to, well, you get the picture.
Kirk's new creation doesn't sit well with Russell.
I see going down on my drawing.
Kirk!
Sunday night at 7:30 on WGN.
Welcome to Bug Heaven.
We have bigger bugs.
Prehistoric pterodactyl skeeters. We asked Avon Skin So Soft users to compare Skin So Soft repellent to Off-Skintastic for Kids.
Off-Skintastic is not greasy.
No, bugs!
Off-Skintastic for Kids repels mosquitoes for over 2 hours. Skin So Soft repellent doesn't come close.
I used it and I didn't have not one bite.
We've switched.
No bugs, no bites!
It feels great on and keeps bugs off.
Off-Skintastic!
From SC Johnson Wax.
After a hot day, it continues to be a warm night in Chicago. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Ramsey. Tom Skilling continues to enjoy some time off. We're watching satellite imagery that shows a lot of clear air over the Chicago area. It's a little hazy in places, but there's no moisture expected. As a result, another day on tap tomorrow of soaring temperatures and very, very humid air pushing up from the south. 81 degrees presently, 65 is the dew point temperature. Humidity about 58%, and the winds out of the south at 5 miles an hour. There will be some relief from this hot, humid weather pattern because by this weekend we're expecting a little chilly air to push out of the northwest, run into the area during the day on Sunday. Now, there may be some storms just ahead of it on Saturday and also early in the morning on Sunday, but that's our next chance of getting out of this sweltering weather. Rain outlook, it looks like up to an inch of rain could fall in the 24-hour period ending at sunrise Sunday. So most of it we think will probably come down prior to dawn on Sunday, or maybe just a little after dawn. National satellite imagery showing some stuff up to our north. Nothing here to bother us. Instead, a ridge of high pressure continues to hold the clouds away, and that's allowing plenty of sunshine and southwesterly breezes, which are keeping the temperature way up high. Saturday, on Lake Michigan, southwest breezes 15 to 20 miles per hour. Wave heights 2 to 3 feet, and the water temperature is warming up nicely, 67 degrees. High temperatures tomorrow, we're expecting readings around here once again in the mid to upper 90s. The record high temperature for this date, tomorrow's date, 97 degrees. There's a good chance we could touch that. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast here. 96 for a high on Saturday, maybe as warm as 97, 84 by Sunday as those storms and cooler air push in. Nice relief by Monday and Tuesday, and temperatures recovering a little by Wednesday and Thursday. For tonight, mostly clear, a little muggy out there. Low temperature 68 to 71. For tomorrow, we'll start the weekend with some morning sunshine and some afternoon clouds. High, mid to upper 90s. And by tomorrow night, some storms may be developing across the area. Low temperature 77 to 80. It looks like a hot, humid night. Then for Sunday, mostly cloudy. Some storms again possible in the morning. Likely not as hot. High temperature 83 to 86 degrees. Spelling doesn't count on the weather forecast, you know. That's all right. But we are looking at heat indices tomorrow, probably between 100 and 105 degrees, so it's going to be pretty uncomfortable.
Weekend spell hot.
Be careful. But if it's only one more day, I think we can put up with it.
I think that maybe by Sunday things will improve quite a bit.
Thanks, Jim.
Very much, Jim.
Oh, the scents of barbecued ribs, corn on the cob, and deep dish pizza fill Grant Park tonight. It is opening night at Taste of Chicago. The heat is up, and so are the crowds. 65 Chicago area restaurants will tempt you with their specialties over the next 10 days. And everybody seems to have a favorite.
Wings are real good. Got a little on me, too.
You're wearing it as well as eating it?
Yeah, I think there's no way to get around that, so.
Well, the taste continues through July 7th.
Well, the weather's not the only thing that's heating things up in the city. Even with the air conditioning on, it's perhaps hardest to stay cool when you're on the road. An action-packed weekend in Chicago means a raging traffic headache. You expect cars on the Kennedy to crawl, especially when construction has closed some of the ramps downtown. But even if you do manage to get off, you're headed into more gridlock. It's not just construction, but sheer congestion. And by the time you're in the mix, there's no turning back.
It's made life a little bit tougher than normal.
Normally, 250,000 people wouldn't be in a feeding frenzy on Columbus Drive, and 70,000 wouldn't be at Soldier Field. But between the Taste of Chicago and the Promise Keepers meeting, more than 250,000 people will converge on the city. Traffic aides frantically try to clear the intersections, but even with 120 extra orange vests out, these arms cannot part the traffic.
Do not drive. If you do have to drive, park in the West Loop area and walk over to the downtown area.
The reality is legs are better than wheels in this situation, and public transportation is even better. Plenty of folks opted for the air-conditioned L. The cars on the track were cruising far better than those on the roadway. But if you can't part with your car, here are the areas to avoid. Lakeshore Drive is down to only 3 lanes between 23rd and Balbo Drive. The Stevenson Expressway exit ramp northbound to Lakeshore Drive is only 1 lane. State Street isn't that great either, with only 1 lane moving. Columbus Drive is blocked completely at Monroe. Jackson is closed east of Michigan, and Roosevelt Road is under construction. And if all of this seems too overwhelming, consider this point of view. At least you're headed into fun and sun once you get downtown. These city workers have to watch all the action, give directions to the entertainment, and try to keep drivers cool while standing all day and night in intense heat. Boy, you have to give them a lot of credit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we were out working in that heat, but not for 8 full hours at a time, sometimes 10 hours.
And does it seem like the heat just slows that traffic down even more?
Yeah, I think a little bit. And then there are stalls along the side of the road, which everybody is told to pull over, get out of the way, make sure not to, back up everyone else there.
Okay, next on WGN News, it's an American League Central showdown on the south side, but are the Sox up to the challenge?
I can't get my kids to eat right. All they want is junk food. Yeah. Do they like chocolate milk? Sure.
One way to give them extra nutrition is with rich chocolate Ovaltine. It's got vitamins Nestle Quick and Hershey's don't.
Yeah, it may be good for them, but will they like it?
My kids love it. They absolutely love it.
So my kids will like Ovaltine, and it's good for them?
Wow. When my kids want chocolate milk, it's rich chocolate Ovaltine.
Rich chocolate Ovaltine in the new blue package. Tastes great. Great for you.
Steve Young here. You know, Crispy Wheaties and Raisins has plump raisins, sweet flakes, and an incredible crunch.
I love the crunch.
Linebackers.
Come crunch time, there's only one. Crispy Wheaties and Raisins.
Incredibly, Matchline, the dependable one-match charcoal from Kingsford, is ready to cook on in just 15 minutes. So, the sooner you get Matchline, the sooner you eat.
Your heart's pounding. It's terrifying. And you feel hot, like a firing range.
We asked some of the hottest new comics on stage to switch antiperspirants and try Degree.
So you think this stuff works, huh?
As your body heat rises, Degree releases extra protection when you need it most.
I'm dry, I feel great. I feel protected. Temperature starts going up and Degree does.
Switch to the antiperspirant that's body heat activated.
Hanging out on stage, that was my friend. I'm cool. I've got Degree.
Degree antiperspirant for an extra degree of protection.
Just checking, you know?
you can still smell the coffee brewing every morning. You can still hear kids being called to the table. And you can still taste the simple goodness of Kellogg's Corn Flakes. The best things in life never change. You gotta make it a great day.
This sports segment is brought to you by Zenith and your Zenith dealers, bringing you the best in electronics. At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on.
With so many viewing choices, Zenith makes selecting and recording programs simple at last. Featuring Starsight, the only on-screen program guide that lets you select any show, anytime, and record at the touch of a button. Available now with Zenith's best picture ever, Zenith with Starsight. See them at your Zenith dealer.
Rich King and Dan Roan are both off, so Steve is going to put on the sports hat tonight.
And I do hope I'm up to this.
Here he is.
Thank you, Dina. Well, it is Game 2 of the Central Division showdown at Comiskey. The White Sox are looking to close the gap on Cleveland's first-place lead, but it won't be as easy as last night's slugfest. The Indians wasted no time getting on the scoreboard. Carlos Baerga singles off James Baldwin in the first inning, scoring Omar Vizquel, and Cleveland jumps out to a quick 1-0 lead. Eddie Murray adds on to that in the fourth. Murray launches this ball into the Indians' bullpen in deep right field. But the White Sox bounced right back. Frank Thomas's easy double play ball is botched by Omar Vizquel. The throw lands in the stands. And the Sox now lead the Indians in the seventh, 4-2. Well, Marge Schott liked what she saw at Riverfront Stadium this evening. Unfortunately, Cub fans did not. Started off pretty well for the Cubs. In the first inning, Leo Gomez's base hit off John Smiley scores Doug Glanville and Mark Grace. Cubs grab a quick 2-zip lead, but it didn't last long. The Reds came right back. Reggie Sanders cranks this 2-run homer off Frank Castillo. Sanders hit 2 of them out tonight. Cubs couldn't rebound. They dropped the first game of the series 7-4. Well, good news in the NBA. The league and its Players Association came to terms on a new collective bargaining deal today, avoiding a second lockout in the last 2 years. This agreement paves the way for players who become free agents on July 1st, including you-know-who and Dennis Rodman, to begin negotiating with teams. But they will still have to wait an extra week to do so. All negotiation talks are prohibited until July 9th. That allows the NBA players a chance to vote on this new deal and make it official.
We will get this done by noon on July 9th, and by done that means a signed agreement that both parties will then know what they're living with for the next 5 years. If that doesn't happen by July 9th, then we'll have to see where we are. But right now, I think everybody very much wants it to get done. I don't see any roadblocks.
In tennis, chalk up another big-name victim at Wimbledon. Second-seeded Boris Becker's quest for a fourth Wimbledon title ended abruptly when he injured his right wrist against South African Neville Godwin and was forced to forfeit the match. Becker made it to the Wimbledon finals last year before losing to Pete Sampras. Wayne Gretzky's short stint with the St. Louis Blues appears to be over. The Blues confirming today that the NHL's career scoring leader will be a free agent Monday. Team president Jack Quinn says the Blues offered Gretzky a 3-year deal worth $15 million. But Gretzky reportedly will leave the team over conflicts with coach Mike Keenan.
For a 35-year-old player, they tried to put the best possible offer on the table for him to keep him as a Blue. That was our objective. We didn't work 3.5 months to acquire him, to let him go to free agency, but we knew it was a possibility.
And that'll do it for your sports report. Dan Roan, Rich King, hurry back.
Well, at least you got to say Sanders, you know. You get sports guys, I get animals, right? We have the first look for you tonight at the new warthog babies at Brookfield Zoo. The litter was born in May to proud parents Aisha and Walter. This was the first time since the late 1930s that warthogs have been born at the zoo. The piglets should be used to our hot weather. They're originally from the grasslands of Africa. The babies will be on view at Brookfield's Habitat Africa exhibit.
Warts and all.
Want to miss that?
I couldn't see it. I don't think they have warts. If they do, they're covered up by the hair.
I don't want to look that closely, okay?
All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. That wraps up WGN News for this Friday night. I'm Steve Sanders.
And I'm Dina Bear. Please join me tomorrow morning for WGN News Saturday morning. I'll see you bright and early, and have a good night.
Good night.